Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I am doing a live stream, a late live stream. Ooh, I don't know why I did that. It's not even Halloween season anymore. That was a that was an error. I don't even know. I know people probably not even gonna really see this, honestly, but hey, why not do a little bit of live stream for you guys, because I know I meant to come back on yesterday, but of course family things happen. um ran so many errands, and then today was kind of like my lazy day, which I wanted to get online, but then I watched football, and then I've been trying to play some video games, and then the rest of the day was running errands. So the time that I thought I might had to get on stream, I did errands. So now I'm here. So, hello everybody, whoever wants to come in there. Um, so yeah, this is just up just because it's kind of fun. I don't even know if it'll even tell everybody that I'm live streaming because it never really does. But if you guys want to share it out for everybody to look at, let them know I'm here. What's going on, Anthony? What's going on, Omega? I am here live streaming for everybody to just chit chat for a bit to make up for yesterday. I know it's kind of late, but I was just like, I already done kind of did my little errands, so might as well just Oh, nice. Actually, I'm waiting for the Bleach to finish. I like to binge watch all of it at once. Um, and I've been doing great. I done avoid all spoilers of Bleach. Um, did this new season that's on. Don't worry, I've already watched the Thousand Year Blood War. It's just that I decided to binge watch all of it at once because I tried to watch it episode by episode. I got frustrated because I had to wait, and I do not have the patience for that. So I'm just going to binge watch it. Yes, that's right. You heard me. I'm just going to binge watch it. So it is what it is, and what it is what it ain't. Ooh, I like how I said that one. What it is, what it is, what it is, what it ain't. But yes, I am here. I gotta tell y'all something. I've been playing Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, and I've been playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And honestly, I am bored with both games. I know, I know. Can you believe it? A Dragon Ball Z game bores me. When I tell you, I am utterly bored out of my goddamn mind playing these games. It feels like a slog to get through Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and then it feels like they didn't care with Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that the fan made Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is better than Sparking Zero is a problem. And I know some people are like, oh, what about online? I don't really get online. I'm a single player kind of person because I don't have time to really get online like I would want. So I just avoid the online scene anyway. Plus, everybody's picking the same goddamn characters anyway. So it is what it is when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I'm playing Sparking Zero, and that lackluster story mode is pissing me off because I'm just like, this is it, and then everything is kind of like in still cutscenes like this, and I'm just like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Please. I mean, Jesus Christ. It reminds me of Young Justice season 3 and season 4, where they just while they're talking over it or subtitle, like it is it is it is like, what the hell? I mean, honestly, I prefer the Naruto games over these last couple of Dragon Ball Z games. They are boring. At least the Naruto games go back with the story mode. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is doing the Baruto thing, um I will say I think Storm Connections and what Storm Revolution was are the two worst Naruto games, because it's like you're literally a filler game until they decide to make Ultimate Ninja Storm 6 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That those are lazy. Those are lazy. But the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game, I just want to get to I just want to get through the story. I don't care about flying around, collecting the orbs, intermission missions. Like sometimes in order to get to the story mode, I have to do the side quest stuff first. And honestly, I just want to get through the Saiyan arc all the way to the Majin Buu saga, because apparently Kakarot decided not to add, Super, the end of Z stuff to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And that's another thing that really pisses me off with these new games nowadays, is that you gotta download the content now. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I got the Ultimate Edition of Sparking Zero, but I can't access any of the stuff yet because it's not available right now. It's I feel like I wasted $100 something for no reason. Yes, I spent $100 something because I wanted to get the Ultimate Edition, because I wanted the little thing, because I got excited. I let my excitement for Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 influence my purchase of Sparking Zero, and I should have not, because so far it's not worth it. I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, it's because you suck." No, it's not even about whether I'm good at the game or not. It's just, I don't know. I just felt like there were just so many things missing. And again, if y'all haven't played the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 fan made game, or at least seen people play it, that's what I wanted Sparking Zero to be. And it wasn't. And to me, that's a problem. That is a problem as a player, because it's just like, okay, so 17 years, we waited 17 years and we got absolutely nothing done. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. We're in the money. We're in the money. Do, 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 do. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Um, have any of you guys played Sparking Zero or Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? Like, let me know. Like, I just want to know, am I like the only one kind of feeling it or whatever? But I don't know. It just feels like even before, Sensei Akira Toriyama died, Dragon Ball has been a slug. Like the franchise itself has been a slog to get through. I've never been so like from a franchise like Dragon Ball, because it just feels like we're going around in circles, especially like we're not talking about One Piece, Naruto, or Bleach. Um, it feels like the same thing as how I complained about Sailor Moon Crystal. It's like, okay, yeah, that's great that you went based off of the manga or whatever, but it feels like a slog to get through the new Sailor Moon, just like it feels like a slog to get through the new Dragon Ball, because it just feels like, oh, yeah, you might have got a little bit of better animation or whatever, but it's just like, what are you doing? Like seriously, what are we doing here? It feels like you don't care. If you don't care, then I don't care. And then of course, when you try to criticize it, here comes the starch defenders who act like nothing outside of them ever existed before, and I'm just like, you guys are not helping the situation. You get what I'm saying? It's not like this is a long running series that, you know what I'm saying? It both Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball ended, right? So if they ended, you would think that let's leave it alone. Or if you're going to do something original, but don't tie it to the main continuity. Let it do its own thing. So that way I don't have to be like, oh my God, this doesn't make sense with the continuity. Just do it in its own thing. Don't really explain nothing. Just let it be what it needs to be. But for right now, it is a slog to get through. And people were like trying to once again compare Daima to Dragon Ball GT and try to talk about how great Dama is over GT. And it's just like, y'all all say the same thing. Can y'all enough? Enough. Anything to bash GT is just tiring at this point, because it's just like, okay, Akira Toriyama did work a little bit on GT. He had his hands in it, but he fully trusted the team at Toei to do it because he didn't want to do any more Dragon Ball, but they constantly wanted to do Dragon Ball. It's the same thing with Super. Yes, he came back to write just the Battle of Gods movie, because he was disappointed in Dragon Ball Evolution. That's the only reason why we got it. But then Toei saw the success of that and was like, you got to do a series. So then they did Resurrection of F. Because Resurrection of F was successful, that's how we got Dragon Ball Super. And then Super led into the Super manga, which, yes, Akira Toriyama did work on some of it, but outlines. Outlines is completely different than writing it down. He wrote Dragon Ball Daima. He wrote Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, Resurrection of F, Dragon Ball Super Broly. He wrote those. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with like GT. He gave them the outline premise. He said, "Hey, make Goku a child again. Get back to what the franchise was about. Dragon Ball's lighthearted fun, comedic moments, or whatever." And that was it. And then there was some other guy who was like, "Oh, what if we added this new form for Goku, Super Saiyan 4?" Akira Toriyama said he liked it so much, add it. That's basically the same thing he's kind of doing in Super, where Tori Taro, who wrote Dragon Ball AF, which honestly, if you ask me, I think that should have been an anime instead of Dragon Ball Super. You know what I'm saying? He said, okay, here's the outline. Tori Taru gave him some stuff to play back, bam, boom, bam. He said, okay, great, go for it. That's really it. That's really it. But like I said, it is hypocritical because once again, it goes back to the whole thing of if there's no manga, then it's not canon. But the problem is Dragon Ball Super was first, and Dragon Ball Super anime is what Akira Toriyama fully worked on, not the Dragon Ball Super manga. You get what I'm saying? So technically, the Dragon Ball anime is more canon than Dragon Ball Super manga because Akira Toriyama personally been working and gave them permission to do it, and then said, Toru Taro, you can do the same thing, but you can also do different things. So technically, wouldn't Dragon Ball Super be fanfic if we're going by the logic of everybody else? But they're not ready to hear that conversation. But anyway, like I said, I don't know. I am just bored through Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and I'm bored on Dragon Ball Spark and Zero. I'm just trying to unlock whatever I need to lock with Spark and Zero until the DLC come out, and then with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I'm just trying to get through the story. I don't know if I'm even going to do the downloadable content at this point. So we'll see. We'll see because I have to buy the downloadable content, and I don't even know if I even feel like doing all of that. So once again, we'll see how that goes. It's just one of those, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, whatever, Give me a second. Nothing like a good Christmas cake. Little Debbie too. But yeah, I don't know. That's my little journey for this weekend was just me struggling with Dragon Ball Z. I mean, with the Dragon Ball games and the Dragon Ball franchise. But I will tell you, I did finish watching Twilight of the Gods by Zack Snyder. That was really cool. Like I said, that's the kind of Thor that I wanted to see in God of War Ragnarok. If we could do something like that, that would be fantastic. That's what they should do. But I know they're not going to do it. I already know they didn't do it. My bad. Not going to do it. They didn't do it. That's why that's why God of War Ragnarok sucked. Anywho, I also heard that Rocksteady is supposed to be remaking Batman Arkham Asylum. No. Oh God, no. Please, God, no. Harley Quinn would be covered up. That little nursemaid outfit that she had on will not be there. She'll probably be more independent from the Joker, of course, which honestly, I feel like it's disrespectful. Kevin Conroy is dead. So what, are you going to add new lines where he's not there? You know what I'm saying? So what, you're gonna get Mark Hamill and Tara Strong, because remember the original actress who played Harley Quinn is dead now, so you can't get her back. Like, or are y'all gonna remake the game and then have Roger Craig Smith voice Batman? Because I don't know. I'm not excited about that at all. Have I played Marvel vs. Capcom Collection? Actually, I forgot to buy it. I gotta buy it. I was so focused on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero that I completely forgot to buy it. But don't worry, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy that and Chainsaw Lollipop, or Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. Those are two games I want to get. WB is backwards. Tell me about it. And I heard that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is supposed to bring in Deathstroke and Batman. I guess they're trying to wrap up the game with that, so they can be like, oh yeah, the Justice League is really alive, and they're gonna stop Brainiac once and for all. And then, yeah, see, we told you everything didn't happen or whatever, and it's just like it's too late. You had Harley Quinn shoot Batman in the head. Once you do something like that, it's just no going back at this point. You broke the Arkhamverse for no reason. Like I said, this game should have been a standalone game on its own without being attached to anything. But what do I know? I'm just a fan that don't know much of nothing, right? So I don't pay attention to comic books or the lore, the history. I'm not a fan that put years into this stuff. And it's kind of crazy because people always want to try to tell me like, oh, you do realize it's like fictional or whatever and stuff like that, so why do you care or whatever? Well, if I didn't care, then they wouldn't have made the game. They made the game because they want people to care. They want you to buy it. But why would I buy something that turns me off? And then why would you purposely make something that turns me off from the franchise? Like, that's so stupid. And it's always people that always want to try to get back at the fans like me who love the characters and like them how they are. Is dumb. Greed and hubris are defining guesses to why Arkhamverse failed. Yeah, you can tell that. But I did hear that Wonder Woman is still in development. More Batman games are coming through because the other WB titles failed. WB at the time. Hogwarts Legacy 2 was coming, but I worry about Hogwarts Legacy 2 because they want to try to put all of that modern audience in there, and then the audience, the people who hate J.K. Rowling, they want them in charge of the game, and I'm just like, y'all are ass backwards. You really gonna self-sabotage one of your most successful games because what? Because you want to get back at the chuds? Then I saw a clip from Joe Rogan's show. There was a guy who was in Joker 2, right? And he was an Arkham Asylum cop, right? Like, he was a security guard or whatever. He was excited because he thought he was going to see Joker, right? But then he said, we got on set, we didn't really know what was going on, right? And then Joaquin Phoenix comes on set and starts singing, and we all looking like, what the hell is going on? And then not only that, they talked about like, oh my God, this movie is trash. They said during lunch, the cast and crew was confused. They were like, what the hell is going on here? And the fact that Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips just thought that this was such a good idea, and then that nobody at WB higher up stepped in and was like, no, we're not doing this bullshit. And then David Zaslav said that he was highly disappointed in this movie because he really thought that this could be something good. You couldn't have thought nothing, because clearly if you did, you would have wrote this off like a tax write-off, like you did Batgirl, because this did damage the brand. Not only did it damage Batman's brand, it also damaged the DC universe, like for movies in general. I don't know what the hell was you thinking. by saying, yes, let's do this. They said they couldn't believe it. They said it's so bad that it's not good where you can hate watch it or make fun of it watching. Like you get more entertainment out of Madam Web than you do Joker 2. I'm like, God damn. I don't think Injustice 3 is ever coming out ever. I don't think so too. I don't think we even need Injustice 3 at this point because it's just like the Injustice 2, okay, you had it, the story was okay, but then you added all of that gear crap or whatever. And at this point, I'm one of those people, I'm one of those old school fighter game kind of people. Stop giving me mix match gear things to customize the way I want to. Give me iconic suits from different, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. Because it made no sense when Injustice 2 came out at the height of the DCEU. There was not DCEU suits for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman. And yes, I know some of y'all gonna say, well, they kind of did. Yeah, but you had to find it. You had to build it and all that kind of stuff. No, I want actual skins because if you play Injustice on the mobile stuff, you can get those suits. And there are characters that are also playable that aren't even playable in the console version of the game. Like that doesn't make any sense. Static is playable. Come on now, that don't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Cassandra Cain Batgirl is playable. Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond is playable. Like every DCEU version of the characters is playable. And it wasn't playable in the console game. That doesn't make logical sense. But if the game was made back before we let these weirdos take over gaming, back in the early 2000s, we would have had a major DC game where you played as these heroes from different versions. And then they probably would have made sequels where they added more costumes. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. And then what else could you go with Injustice 3? Because do people really want to see Superman take over Batman brain and fight Brainiac again? We already had that crap already. We already got that with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and that's a turnoff to people. That's a turnoff. Like I don't know what to tell folks. Let me see. I'm burned out on Injustice. Yeah, and then the comic book, don't even get me started with how many times they made Batman and Superman escape death when they should have died by now. So at this point, it's whatever. You know, I haven't watched. I just refuse to watch Madam Web. I know the actual character before everything. Yeah, Madam Web is horrible, but it's so bad. It's funny because you're going to be laughing at like how stupid this movie was. You'd be like, damn, I can't believe they really sit up here and put this movie to screen. But I'd rather watch Madam Web before I watch Joker 2. I refuse to watch Joker 2. You couldn't pay me enough to watch Joker 2. No, absolutely not. Billie Eilish reacted to the 2004 calling it a war on women. Of course, all of the women in Hollywood are saying the same thing. So it's just like, okay, but y'all do realize the reason why everything went the way it went is because of y'all. So keep up the dumb attacks on the audience. Y'all better learn from Grace Randolph. I'm telling you, this ain't the fight y'all want. But yeah, if Injustice 3 was going to happen, it would have been happened. But the problem is they use the same engine that they did with the Mortal Kombat games, and most people are turned off from the Mortal Kombat games. So it's just like, okay, did you really think that was going to work with Injustice? Now, if they kept Injustice how the first Injustice game was, I think the Injustice franchise would still be going on to this day. But now you can't do it because there's so many modern issues going on. Characters have to be covered up. Certain characters can't wear this. That kind of time for all that. Don't nobody want to deal with all that. Speaking of DC Injustice game, they're going to make three games of Injustice. They couldn't because they talking about Batman. They were talking about Batman. They didn't even mention anything else. They were talking about we're going to head nose dive in with Batman stuff. Oh, Wonder Woman is still there. Wonder Woman's going to get her game, but for right now, our main focus is to do Batman spinoff titles. So what happened? What happened is like a self prophecy of Ugiwe quote of how one often meets his destiny in the road that they try to avoid. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, I don't honestly. It's just disappointing. It's really disappointing to see all of this stuff right now happening. But it's just like, who else can you blame for it? Because you can't blame us for it, because we already told you what we don't do and don't want. Y'all still want to keep trying to double down, triple down on this stuff, and it doesn't work. You can't double down, you can't triple down on it anymore. People are done. People are like, no, we're done. Kiss rocks. You know what I mean? Like, nope, we're not even dealing with this at all. So I don't know. And then of course there the finale of the Penguins coming out. Like I said, I didn't watch the Penguin, and some people are like, oh, you don't know what you're missing out. I don't care. I don't care, because it's not realistic to tell a villain story without Batman being there. Batman comes out when a petty crime is happening, but he can't come out when a part of the city just collapsed in the sewers. Where Batman at? No Batman? Nothing. Nothing. Okay. I get that Robert Pattinson don't like to show up in shows or whatever, but he should have showed up. He should have showed up. I don't care what his reasoning is. I think if Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and them agree to streaming service stuff, you can agree to it. You're not as famous as they are. So for you to even command that bull crap is beyond me. I would have been like, no, you gonna take your motherfucking ass. You gonna go and shoot some scenes for the Penguin. But then I didn't ask you if you didn't feel like it. I really didn't ask you if you felt like it, Robert. I really didn't ask you if you felt like it. Okay, all right. Because if you want another Batman too, and you want the rest of that money for that contract, you're gonna show your behind up to Penguin. Yeah, yeah. You are. No, I have not. Like I said, I already told you guys what I was doing this weekend. So no, if I just finished one show and then I focused on video games, there's no way in the world I watch Arcane season 2, or Bleach, because I was asked about Bleach too. So no, um, yeah, Oogie's quote about how one meets destiny in the road that one avoids is a way to sum up why America's where it's at. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That's really a good one too. And it kind of sucks though, because Hollywood is trying to double down on it, and it's just like, no, the people, American people have woken up. It was a landslide. You have to get over it. You can't no longer call the audience, the Americans, this or that, because you keep this up. We're showing you. We just won't watch your stuff. There's plenty of stuff over in Japan and Korea. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how many, and on top of this, let me tell you something, because I know this is something they've been trying to push. So they've been trying to push LGBT shows, movies, and stuff like that on us, right? And a lot of us be like, no, hell no. Well, Korea and Japan decided to do a thing called BLs. Now, if you don't know BLs is boy love. That's what it stands for. Okay, great. So there's a lot of shows, movies that are BLs, and those things are skyrocketing in popularity and in sales, in viewership around the world. People are falling head over heels for these BLs. Even the mangas that are based off of, or light novels or webtoons, those are skyrocketing right now too. But because you want to know why, not only did you cast these beautiful men, right? But you're not taking characters from somewhere else, and you're not insulting the audience when they interview them. They're not talking about, oh, if the people don't like it, then they're homophobics or racist or whatever. They're just like, okay, you know, here's our show. We hope you like it. They entertain the fans. They do little fan meetups or whatever. They on social media, they talk about scenes or whatever. They don't they don't attack the audience for if they say something negative or whatever. They be like, it is what it is, or they'll say thank you. We hope that next time you might enjoy the next show or whatever, and call it a day. United States got to constantly 24/7 it on our throats. While they not 24/7 it, they're just like, okay, here's the show. And if it becomes good, if it becomes popular enough, cool, we'll put a little bit more promotion into it. If not, it is what it is. But they don't force it down your throat. And that's something the United States has been trying to do forever. They've been trying to get us to watch all these LGBT shows, movies, and everything, and shove it down our throats. I mean, they'd be like this: no, you're going to like this this LGBT stuff. I don't care that you're straight. You're gonna like it. You're gonna, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. What's going on, Sean? A woman tried to raise her son non-binary. Luckily, the father won full custody. Thank God. Thank God. Thoughts on Black Myth Wukong? I don't have any thoughts because I haven't played it neither. That's another game I just let slip through my cracks. So I'm probably gonna buy these games probably during the holiday season because I know they're going to be on sale. So that's probably the best time for me to buy them because I've been busy with work. So when you're busy with work, you just don't have as much time as you think. Trust me. Trust me on that one. Yeah, I did hear there are rumors that Meg Thee Stallion is going to do an anime, which honestly, good for her because she's really an anime girl. Like, she's not one of those girls or black nerds that be like pretending or whatever. She is hardcore in it. And no offense, I've been running into too many of them that are just here because it's popular enough and you got a body. You're not doing it because you really like the characters. Because if you did, you wouldn't criticize it to the point where it's just like, are you sure you're a fan, or are you just here because you can get simp and you can get people to buy stuff from you, and then you get flown out to places? But do you really appreciate this stuff? I know some people say, "Oh, you shouldn't gatekeep or whatever," but no, we really should, because the reason why all of this stuff has went downhill is because the nerd community wasn't gatekeeping. You know what I mean? Let's see. Is there anything worth appealing out of Wiccan and Teddy? Like, their defining lineage is the lineage of being gay. Well, when they first started, they were characters, but it was obvious from issue number one that they were gay. Like it wasn't like they were throwing it in our face, but it was pretty obvious if you was reading the book. Now, the first run of Young Avengers is pretty good. It's pretty cool. It's just after the second run where they introduced Kid Loki or and whatever, it became like this LGBT bull crap. Half the Young Avengers became gay out of nowhere. And then they did focus on Wicked and Teddy being gay the whole time. And it was like, oh, Wiccan using his warp reality powers to probably make Teddy fall in love with him. What if Teddy is really not gay, that he's really into women, but Wiccan is using his alternate reality powers to make him gay. And I'm just like, You guys just couldn't just tell a story without focusing on these two characters' sexuality, huh? I see. I see. Um, it just made it kind of boring. It's the reason why the Runaways failed. Like after a while, the Runaways had a successful run, right? But then like when the Hulu show came out, they start making half of the most of the cast gay. And I'm talking about in the comic books, which led it to that in the show. So then you skip over all this decade of these characters being straight to go straight to gay, and then you wonder why the comic book fails. Because let's be honest, where's the Runaway and the Young Avengers run right now? Nowhere, because people was like, no, we're done. We're not doing this. And that's what I'm saying. You cannot just come out of nowhere and just start making every damn character gay. You can't make a team full of gays. You cannot make a team full of girls. You can't make a team full of blacks that um looks genuine, because we know in today's society the reason why it's happening is because, oh, we need more blacks, we need more LGBT, we need more females. You're not doing it because this makes sense for the story, and that's be the problem. Hollywood went forces to likes to force down everyone, and this is just tiring. Yeah, hoping Meg the Stallion anime gets attractive. Well, let's hope she got a good idea, honestly. Um Wish will be in 2000s and early 2010s again. You mean you wish we were back in the 2000s? So much for diversity and inclusion. LOL. Yeah, I mean, it's in the sales. Like you can't force that. It has to be genuine. People can feel when stuff is fake. Mm-hmm. It was fake. Can't get mad at that. 1 second, sorry. You don't like talk with my fool. Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Probably one of the best Mountain Dew since Cold Blue and Pepsi Blue. Oh, I love Pepsi Blue. Love Pepsi Blue. I miss it. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And it reminds me of my argument that I got into with people about Sam Wilson Captain America, because Marvel is trying to force that crap down our throats, and I'm just like, it's not going to work. It is not going to work. But they really want this to work to the point where they're making a new comic book run. I don't know if you guys noticed. I mean, it's a new Captain America Sam Wilson run, and they're like recreating all of the iconic Captain America runs. I mean, covers, but with Sam Wilson instead. And it's just like, stop it. Stop it. Because if anything, shouldn't you be recreating all the iconic Falcon covers with Sam Wilson instead? That's how you know they're just trying to like force it down the throat of everybody. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. And then people, like I said, argue me down talking about, what do you mean we or whatever? I enjoy it. Just because you enjoy it, don't mean everybody else enjoys it. And that's just real talk. Like I'm being so for real right now. Like you can't force that down people's throat. People will let you know whether they like something or not. And the problem is the sales for Captain America Sam Wilson is not there. It's not there. Like I tell people, the reason why they're doing all of this right now is because they got lightning in the bottle with Miles Morales. People always want to try to say he's not successful, he doesn't deserve the title of Spider-Man. Yes, the boy does. He's one of the few legacy characters who has. It's kind of like when Wally West took over as the Flash, or when you had Kyle Rayner as Green Lantern or whatever. Those characters deserve it. Yes, are there other Green Lanterns? Yes, are there other Flashes? Yes, but that doesn't take away the fact that they didn't earn it. The reason why all of this is happening right now is because Miles Morales was successful. If Miles wasn't successful, they wouldn't be doing this. So it's kind of funny when everybody be like, "Oh, isn't a success," or "Miles is terrible," or whatever. Well, no, clearly he wasn't terrible, because if he was terrible, we would have never got them to double down on this stuff. Y'all have to understand, the reason why they're doubling down on it is because they found success with Miles Morales as Spider-Man. If they didn't find that success, we probably would have never got all new, all different with all of these diverse versions of our beloved characters. You get what I'm saying? Ideally, the circumstances success of Spider-Man's dynasty should have gone. Yeah. Honestly, for me, what should have happened is we should be having a long running Spider-Girl series, and that stars Mayday Parker. Like, you can still have Peter Parker's Spider-Man book, you can have the Mayday Parker Spider Girl series, and you can also have the Miles Morales Spider-Man series. I think those three characters work. You have you have the legacy of the child, and then you have the legacy of a mentor. I mean, mentee, where Spider-Man, Peter Parker, inspired not only the next generation, which is his daughter, but also inspired the next generation for someone who took up the mantle of Spider-Man too, who also gained the same abilities as him. You get what I'm saying? But under different circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that is what we should be having right now. We shouldn't be having no Spider Gwen book, because it don't make logical sense. Nobody cares about Spider Gwen. She's not interesting. She was cute for a variant cover. She was cute for her first volume. But then after that, no, because she's a constant reminder of Gwen Stacy, and I'm tired of Peter Parker dealing with that nonsense. And she's just not interesting. She's not an interesting character, like that. Yes, the Spider Verse made her sort of interesting, but honestly, I really wish it was another female character they would have focused on instead of her. That's how much I just do not care about Gwen Stacy as Spider Woman, or Spider Gwen, or whatever. Um, like I said, what if it was me? What would have happened is we would have, after one more day, we would have definitely had Peter Parker and Mary Jane married with a child on the way. So by the time Miles Morales was starting to get introduced, Mayday Parker will be making her grand reveal in the main continuity. You know what I'm saying? So you can still have Miles in the Ultimate Universe. You can have Mayday Parker in the present universe. And then when Secret Wars collided, then you bring Miles over to the main continuity, with his history intact, but in a new world where, he's being mentored by Peter Parker, and alive Peter Parker, while also teaming up and being a partner with Spider Girl, who could understand as much as anybody else can besides Peter Parker. That would have been cute, but no, you can't have that because Peter Parker can't grow up, which makes no logical sense. Um, in my opinion, the modern Spider people is worse than DC handled Superman Dynasty. Yeah, I mean DC is probably good, is a little bit better at legacy than Marvel is. You know what I'm saying? I just think that because Marvel got so excited by having one successful legacy, which is Miles Morales, they decided to double and triple down on it to the point where it just became exhausting. You know what I'm saying? No, no, actually, there's a third person that survived the Ultimate Universe, Jimmy Hudson. Jimmy Hudson's Wolverine's son actually did survive the Secret War. He actually showed up in X-Men Blue, where the original X-Men team from the past was stuck in the present or whatever. He actually joined the team. He's in space merged with some kind of symbiote right now, which you would think that with the whole Venom War and the symbiotes coming to Earth or whatever, you would think that they would remember, oh yeah, Jimmy exists. So Jimmy is actually in the main continuity right now. It's in the main continuity right now. So there's technically 3 characters from the Ultimate Universe that's in the main continuity. That is, well, no, 4. Actually, there's 4 actually. No, it's 3. It's 3. The Maker, the Maker, Miles Morales, and Jimmy Hudson. Jimmy Hudson, I think they just forgot about him. They literally forgot about him because he's out there. He is in the main continuity in space somewhere. And they just said fuck it. They're doing worse to Venom in its Venom verse. Yes. Oh my god, I am so sick of Venom right now. Like, I've never seen so much Venom events before in my life, and I'm like, holy crap, you guys are tripling too much. It's too much. It's too much. It is too much. Plus Mayday and Miles will be interesting Spider Friends. I don't mind Gwen, but Marvel has hands on her for some stupid reason. I don't mind Gwen. I don't mind Gwen Stacy, but I want her to be a memory for Peter. If you have to do anything Gwen related, you use those children that she had with Norman Osborn. I don't care that y'all don't like it. That's something that needs to happen. That's way more interesting than making Gwen a spider character. You know, didn't Bombshell survive too? I don't remember. Bombshell, I don't think. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me make sure, because now you made me sick. Bombshell. Let me Bombshell 1610. Let's see. Hold on. Oh my god, you're right. She did survive. Bombshell did survive. Oh yes, because she was introduced in the Young event, the Young Ultimates run, and because she was also introduced, she was also a supporting character in Miles's story. So a lot of Miles's friends merged over to the main continuity. Oh my god, I completely forgot that Miles's entire like supporting cast system, mostly for the most part, merged over to the main continuity. Yes, you are so right. I completely forgot about Bombshell. Yes, that makes so much sense. Yep, because she was yep. I completely forgot about her. Thanks for reminding me. So yeah, but as far as like the heroes of Memorance, Maker, Miles, and Miles's little world, and Jimmy Hudson are the only survivors of the Ultimate Universe. I rather them bring back Captain Marvel over Gwen Stacy. Well, Captain Marvel died from cancer, but they did bring his son back in a short-lived series. He's in space doing something right now. What Philavel, I think is his one. No, Marv Genesis. He's in space somewhere doing something. Sins Past was the wrong retcon. Yeah, Sins Past is the wrong retcon. One More Day should have been retconned out, if anything. Because honestly, I keep telling people, y'all don't know Gwen Stacy. A lot of people don't know Gwen Stacy. We don't know what she was like before she met Peter Parker. So when somebody said, "Oh, she's acting out of," you don't know that. You don't know that. And people try to argue me down about it. What are you talking about? Gwen was perfect. No. She was perfect in Peter's eyes. But early interpretations, she really wasn't all that friendly of a character. It was a couple of times when Stan Lee changed her, when Stan Lee was like, let's change her more to fit his wife. But she wasn't the just the beautiful girlfriend of Peter Parker at first. She was kind of a jackass. And she also did have attraction to older men. She did. She did. There's nothing wrong with that. And people always try to say that that's wrong. No, it's not. They were in college. She's 20 something damn years old. She is allowed to sleep with a 40-year-old if she wants to, because guess what? They're consenting adults. Is it wrong? Of course. That's what makes it interesting, because it's wrong. It's wrong. And that's what makes it interesting. That what gives it the drama. Because Gwen did want to have kids with Peter Parker, but ended up having kids with Norman Osborn instead. You know, Zeb did ruin the whole Amazing Spider-Man run. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm shocked they ended the modern Amazing Spider-Man run. They needed to. It was dog crap. It was dog crap. Also, given the nature of how Mephisto's pack worked, Aunt May should have died. Nevertheless, it's ironic in ironic fashion, much like Crash Simpson dying by a failed stunt instead of cancer. Yeah, I mean, it would. First off, what didn't make any sense is that no matter who Peter went to, nobody could heal Aunt May. They couldn't heal a bullet wound. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm not even trying to hear that. It didn't make the sense God gave. It really didn't make the sense God gave. You know what I'm saying? Um, let me make sure I'm seeing everybody's stuff. Okay. The run ruined Mary Jane and Peter Parker's relationship for the sake of a story or a writer artist's self-interest. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Nope, I don't want them touching Marvel and ruining him. Yeah, me neither. Let him stay dead. Let him have his iconic cancer death. Remember when Netflix live action Cowboy Bebop made Gene a gay character? They changed it from the anime, erasing the original aspect of being non-binary wasn't part of the original. Exactly, because they forgot the reason why Gene was like how he was because he took experimental stuff that gave him female parts that he wasn't supposed to have, where he looks more feminine than male, but he's still male. It's just that that experiment went wrong, but they don't understand the nuance of that. you know let's see, what else are you guys saying? Hold on, I'm trying to go back. He's been a Monster Underground. Yeah. They brought back Jimmy in the Venomverse. Oh, really? Okay, okay, okay. I might have to check that out. Um, what's going on, Dr. Hino? Um, come to think of it, Peter could be reluctant, but a wise mentor figure who raised Mayday Parker. Meanwhile, Ben could be more relaxed mentor or brother figure for Miles Morales. Oh, that could work too. Ooh, or this. Peter is reluctant to train Mayday Parker, but he has no problem training Miles. And Mayday gets jealous and goes to her uncle Ben, and her uncle trains her. Yeah, that would be so cool. Um, let's see. Did you hear that Netflix Tomb Raider is getting a season 2? Of course it is. Of course it is. You really thought that they were just gonna film it and that was it? No, please stop it. Stop it. Behave. Most don't realize AMS sucked till the Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, and even then, Ultimate Spider-Man sucks too. Like it's a slog to get through that one. The only thing that people are excited about is the fact that Mary Jane and Peter Parker are married. Other than that, most people don't care about the Ultimate Spider-Man run because ain't nothing happening in it. It is nothing but talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm just like, oh my God, Lord have mercy, give me the strength that God gives. Gwen's unfaithful nature made her some character since they keep Mary Jane for treating Peter like crap. Gwen did too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then everybody was like, oh, Gwen's boring or whatever. Okay, that was the whole point of Sins Past and Sins Remember, to remind you that she was different, that she had a personality outside of just what Peter saw. You know what I'm saying? People always want to pretend like these characters aren't allowed to grow and change. You say that she's boring, but then when they do something different, oh, I can't believe it. Gwen would never do that. You don't know that because, again, they met in college. They didn't meet when they were in high school. Peter didn't meet Gwen Stacy when he was in high school. He met her when he was in college, when they were 20 something years old, when they were adults. You know what I'm saying? So for you to even say that, we don't know, because we don't know what Gwen Stacy was before she met Peter Parker. And from the glimpse of her when she first appeared in comic books, she seemed like she was a basic mean girl. Yeah, who had the world given to her at her fingertips. So for y'all to really pretend like she wouldn't have slept with some older men, or you think she was a virgin before she gave it up, before Peter Parker, is crazy. Is the Lulu. Let me see what else are you guys saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely true. Jean is a vet who goes to try to kill Vicious for this. Now he's non-binary. Yeah, I already know. That's why nobody cared. That's why nobody cared about Cowboy Bebop after all that nonsense. Most animation series are slated to 20 to 24 episodes. Yeah, and then they split it into like 8 episodes for a season or whatever, to at least get like 2 to 3 seasons. So it'll make you believe like, oh, see, you see they got 3 seasons, see 3 seasons. Now you know darn well originally one season is 20 to 24 episodes, or well 12 to 24 depending on who the network is. Nowadays it's like 8 episodes. That's a season. That's really not a season, but okay, fine, whatever. May and Miles rivalry glorious. I want it. Me too. Talking every chapter where fight scenes. Yeah, there's barely any fight scenes going on in Ultimate Spider-Man. And then when Peter do fight, he loses. I ain't never seen, both in Amazing Spider-Man and in Ultimate Spider-Man, he hasn't won nothing. He keeps getting beat up. So I'm just like, they gave Peter more fuel to hate Norman, which is Peter was quick to kick his ass. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because and there was a given reason for Norman to kill Gwen Stacy besides, oh, she's the girlfriend of Peter Parker. It's because they have kids together and she said, hell no, you're not going to see your children. That makes way more sense than just her in the apartment randomly, and then Norman decides, I'm just gonna fly and take her. Pew! Knowing that if you're flying by, you would have saw Peter. You know what I'm saying? You could have easily kidnapped him instead. Norman should have stayed dead along with Harry Osborn. Plus, modern Norman arcs could have worked for Roderick Kingsley. Yeah, you're right. And it's just like they always keep going back and forth with Norman and Harry, whether they want to be Green Goblin, or they're good but they're not so good, or whatever, or then they're cool with Peter Parker but now they're angry at Peter Parker. It's Peter Parker's fault that everything happened to them, but now it's not their fault. It's crazy. What's my opinion on Absolute Universe? Well, I haven't read it yet, but I will say it's very hypocritical. It's hypocritical that everybody is liking the Absolute Universe, because what it tells me is most people liked the DCEU. You can get mad at a wall, but this dark take on the universe seems, and people are actually enjoying Absolute Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Okay, so that means truthfully, people enjoy Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, that Zack Snyder did. I'm just being honest. I am being honest, because you can't sit up here and tell me you enjoy Absolute Universe, but I can't stand the DCEU because it was too dark and the characters were acting out of character. But then Absolute Universe, the characters are acting out of character and the universe is dark. You know what I'm saying? And don't give me that, oh, it's an Elseworld story. So is the DCEU. So is the MCU. They're Elseworld stories. Every adaptation on the big screen is technically an Elseworld version of the characters. Is it not? Yes. Yes. Why is the MCU allowed to do whatever they want with the characters, but but the DCEU isn't allowed to do something different? You get what I'm saying? Because think about it, when when WB did listen and go to the lighthearted version of DC stuff, nobody showed up for those movies hardly. Am I lying or am I lying? Nope. You as much as people claim that they want lighthearted DC, you don't care. You don't really care about dark lighthearted DC. You really don't. Because even then, if you watch Superman the animated series, if you watch Justice League Unlimited, Superman is there. And yes, even though the scenery is light, it's sunny outside or whatever, Superman isn't cracking jokes as much. He's not smiling as much or whatever. He's taking things serious. Yes, he's rescuing people, he's saying things or whatever, but for the most part, there were a lot of dark scenes, especially in Superman the animated series. The last episode literally ended with him fighting Darkseid, and after he took over Earth in the name of Darkseid. You want to talk about lighthearted? Please, please. And in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, come on now. Did you not see what he was doing? Come on now. Okay. All right. Y'all go with that lighthearted nonsense if you want to. But what I'm saying is, if you're okay with absolute Batman taking an axe and slicing people's hands off, having a retardedly absolute tank of a Batmobile, shooting people with actual gun, with a gun, he has no what you call it, like he's not killing them, but he's still using a gun. You get what I'm saying? Then you have to be okay with what Zack Snyder did with the DCEU. That's just real talk. That is real talk. I don't really want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear but this, but blah 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 blah. No, it's a different take on the DC universe. It is a different take on the DC universe. You know what I'm saying? That's hypocritical. You can't sit up here and say, "Oh, well, it's because of this or it's because of that." Well, first off, you never let Zack Snyder finish out his story. So for you to even say what the universe could have been or not, you don't know, because we never got a chance to finish out the story. Because guess what? He was building Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman to be the iconic Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman that you wanted. But y'all wanted him to do it in the first movie. You wanted him to already be there. You wanted Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman to already be there, without understanding that they have to go through a character arc before they get to that. And that's what he was trying to do. You get what I'm saying? But you didn't allow that because that was too much. That was too much. You get what I'm saying? That was too much, right? But yet it put butts in seats. It put butts in seats though, because think about it. They did a lighthearted Wonder Woman movie, Wonder Woman 1984. Y'all hated it. They did a lighthearted Suicide Squad movie. You hated it. They did a lighthearted Aquaman 2. You hated it. They did a lighthearted Shazam movie. You hated it. They did a lighthearted Birds of Prey. You hated it. I'm just saying it clearly. What I'm seeing as a person who, if I was making movies or if I'm working for the company, what I'm seeing is this dark stuff sells better than this light stuff. As much as people complain online about, we want lighthearted Superman, we want lighthearted Batman, we want lighthearted Wonder Woman, or in the DCEU needs to be brighter and hopeful. That would be true if y'all proved it to us, but you didn't. You showed up for the first 6 DCEU movies that were too dark, right? And you made the Warner Brothers a whole bunch of money. And then when they did the lighthearted, jokey, silly kind of thing, a lot of y'all said, "We don't care. We don't care." So why would I continue to go the lighthearted route when it seems like you like what Zack Snyder was doing? and you're liking what Zack Snyder was doing because Scott Snyder is literally inspired by what Zack Snyder was doing for the Absolute Universe, and y'all said yes. I don't know. Seems like dark, different actually works compared to light-hearted superheroes. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. People are full of crap. Yeah. Even though they made Captain America act in a sympathetic way for a non-binary audience, he was born in 1918 and raised in the 1940s, he um where he beefed with color minorities and very homophobic. Are you talking about the ultimate? You talking about in the Ultimate Universe where he acknowledged the non-binary Hawkeye, which doesn't make any logical sense? The editors of Spider-Man deserves to look in front of Ghost Rider. What's up, Trey? What's going on? Yeah, I know, right? I'm just out here, um, out here doing a little live stream for a bit. Even though they made you already said that. You don't have to repeat the same thing. Um, Darkseid is making a universe where heroes aren't the tropes. Okay, and the DCEU wasn't tropes neither, but yet, you know, WB panicked because they had a few people saying, "Oh, I don't like it," but the box office and the money was saying different. That's why they just released Zack Snyder, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice official merchandise stuff sold out again. I'm getting sick of this. Y'all keep telling me y'all hate Zack Snyder stuff, but every time Warner Brothers release Zack Snyder stuff for the DCEU, it is sold out immediately. And then I get on the list to wait to get whatever. I I don't know how, but when it activates or whatever, either I'm broke at the time or I get in there and it's all of it sold out. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but it also proves that this is what you want. This is what you want. I say Harry should be the main Green Goblin after Norman's death, due to the deal with Mephisto making a mix of magic and tech to give Peter hell. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting though. Um, One book, Hawkeye, Native Boy. Yeah. I would give Harry reasons to hate Norman, but also have a magical imp would have a scary take on how he does things. Yeah, oh, that would be cool. That would definitely be cool, honestly. And by the look, and by looking in front, the editors must experience the pain and fury of every Spider-Man fan. Yeah, I think haters say minority seriously. Well, I don't know because if you really think about it, the reason the major hate is the same thing with the Miles Morales thing. Is coming from critical drinker, Nerdrotic, Eric July, as versus Babyface. You know what I'm saying? Mr. H reviews or whatever. Thinking critical, all of them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're bad people, but because they spread this hatred for Miles, for Zack Snyder, it kind of permeates into the online world that Warner Brothers and Marvel believes it to the point where either with WB, they decided to scrap everything because they claimed that the audience didn't like it. Marvel decides to double down on Miles Morales and try to force him into things nowadays when it doesn't the reason why Miles was successful was because you took your time with the character and you never forced anything. Now they're trying to force it down the throat because you got Gary from Nerdrotic is like Miles Morales is Miles Morales and Spider-Man is Spider-Man, who is Peter Parker. There'll never be another Spider-Man, which there has been other Spider-Man characters. And yet we had no problem when Ben Riley took over. We had no problem at all when it came to that. But all of a sudden we have issues with Miles Morales, but it kind of makes us as the audience look racist to Marvel for constantly trying to put down this half black, half Puerto Rican child for being Spider-Man 2. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I'm quite sure we wouldn't have this much issues if he was a white child, honestly. You know what I mean? And the whole Zack Snyder thing is kind of like, oh, because all of these people grew up with Superman, Christopher Reeves. And don't get me wrong, I love Christopher Reeves, Superman. But Superman himself has evolved past what Christopher Reeves has done. But Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Eric July, as Mr. H, all of them, they can't get past Christopher Reeve's Superman. You get what I'm saying? And it's only two good ones, Superman 1 and 2. And the things that they were complaining about is some of the stuff that happened in Superman the movie and in Superman 2. But we're just gonna casually forget about that kind of stuff. You get what I'm saying? And then, oh, Zach had Batman do this and that. Okay, but he was doing that in other Batman movies too. But you never said nothing then. It's crazy. Most of the anti-chuds are loud activists are in the vocal minority. Well, yeah, but when you have popular faces saying it, it kind of throws that out there. It's kind of like the same thing as like when you have popular YouTubers from America telling people Dragon Ball GT sucks, and they threw it out there, and it's constantly those popular YouTubers of Dragon Ball anime and whatever saying Dragon Ball GT sucks. People start saying, yeah, Dragon Ball GT does suck. You get what I'm saying? So it's weird when, like, I know they don't mean it. I know they might hate it, but because they have such a popular platforms and because they have such fans or whatever, it kind of permeate that. And I feel like that was such a wrong thing because from what I hear from everybody is Zach is like one of the most nicest, sweetest people in Hollywood. He's not problematic. He tries to look out for his cast and crew. He's not difficult to work with or anything or whatever. He even accommodates to anything that the studio requires him. Like a lot of people forget that Zach might have storyboards, some ideas for how the DC universe will go, but he didn't write it at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? He just directed it. And people will keep putting all the blame on him, but not understanding that the studio had final say on a lot of the stuff, which is crazy because when Zach was working for them with the DCEU, they restricted him with a lot of stuff. But after Zach left, all of the directors after him had free range to do whatever they wanted to with the DC characters. Free range. Isn't that crazy? The director that gave you more success, you were very restrictive on him and talking about what he couldn't do, rewrote his scripts, cut his movie, fired him during the time that his daughter died. And then the directors, and then after he left, you gave it to incompetent directors who just did whatever they wanted to the characters. Like that don't make no sense to me. And then is baffled that the movie's gonna make the money that you wanted because you were hands off. Isn't it funny you were hands on with Zach and those even with those restrictions that you put on him, he was still able to give you successful movies. But then when you weren't hands on with these directors and you gave them creative control, they did whatever they wanted to with your DC characters and ended up crashing your box office. How does that work? How does that work? I'm just saying it don't make sense. God, why are all Native American characters portrayed as LGBT? I don't know why they're doing that recently. That's a very big thing too, because I don't think in the Native American culture they even like LGBT. Not that I'm aware of, but I don't think so. And I've never really seen any Native American person talk about the LGBT. So I'm just blown away by the fact like we're seeing Native Americans and all of a sudden in Hollywood they're coming out the closet. Like what? Why? Why? Why can't we have traditional families to help preserve their numbers instead of labeling them as queer colonizer? I don't know. I have no idea. I have heard it from them, from most of them of those. Mr. H does actually work in Hollywood. Yeah, yeah, I know he works in the London thing. He said that some people say he's like that Zach is nice, but they said his movies are shit. But it it can't be shit if it makes money at the box office. You get what I'm saying? Like is weird. It is weird. It's the same thing with the Michael Bay movies. Like the Transformers live action movies. Once Michael Bay left after what the fourth movie, I mean the fifth movie, he was a little bit more hands off in the fourth and fifth movie though. It was kind of downhill from there. But the first three movies made a whole bunch of money. And anytime they do anything Transformers, it doesn't really make as much money because you say, hey, Michael Bay, get the hell up out of here. Okay, great. He got the hell up out of here. Now you're letting other people do it. And for some reason they can't recapture the magic. And people always say, well, Bumblebee is the best Transformers live action movie. It might be, but it was the lowest performance out of all of the Transformers live action movies. So it's the same thing when people always like to say the Suicide Squad from DCEU is the best DCEU movie of all time. It might be, but it underperformed out of all the movies. The audience rejected it. So is it really? Is it really the best? No, it's not. You get what I'm saying? You have to make movies where the money is. You can't just make movies. I mean, you can do passion projects, but you can't sit here and say, oh, more movies need to be like this one. You mean the movie that underperformed? Oh, we should continue to do more movies like that instead of the movies that did perform? Huh, that don't make no sense to me. Anti-Snyder people are liberals or SJ in the comic YouTubes that are symphonials. I guess so. I mean, I guess you can kind of say that. You kind of say that because I wouldn't call Thinking Critical or Eric July and them SJWs in comic books because they love comics and stuff like that. It's just that sometimes some of their takes are kind of because of what's been happening in today's society that I think they kind of forget that there's nuance between for certain things. You get what I'm saying? Um, what's your thoughts on Earth X Spider-Man, who looks like a mix of lizard design? It was an interesting design, but let's be honest, Earth X needs a redraw. I am so disappointed that Alex Ross did not draw Earth X because I was really looking forward to Earth X. The covers are beautiful. The covers are beautiful, but it's hard to look at the story because the story inside is drawn so ugly. It's just like could you imagine if Kingdom Come had all these beautiful Alex Ross covers and you open the book and there's no Alex Ross stuff in it? I would be so pissed off with Kingdom Come. I would be so mad at Kingdom Come. I'd be like, I don't even want this no more. mm, I think Miles is cool. However, the new powers are annoying. Only relocating him to a team up with only black characters is kind of annoying too, and keep him and Peter out. Well, I don't think the new powers are annoying. I will tell you the vampirism was going too far, but we have to remember that Miles got his spider bite from a different spider. It's not a radioactive spider like Spider-Man was. So I can understand why his powers are evolving. He is a black nerd who is watching anime or whatever. So it does make sense that his powers would evolve into being able to generate what he would want from an anime or whatever. Like he's a superhero who's watching anime and stuff, and his powers are evolving to accommodate that. His bioelectric powers are they're bioelectric, which means there is solid electricity that you can touch from his body that he's generating himself. So that's fine. I don't mind that. What I do have a problem with is the vampirism thing, which I hope they get rid of that soon. And you do, I do understand the whole bringing in all these black heroes or whatever and stuff like that, because it's just like, okay, realistically, Miles would be working with more than just these black superheroes. But I get it; they're trying to spotlight a black character, is trying to connect with all these black superheroes or whatever. But I think another thing they need to connect with Miles. If they're going to do the black thing, they have to do the Puerto Rico thing. Like, he needs to connect with more Puerto Rican heroes. Connect more with his Puerto Rican culture in the book. I think that's a flaw. Is you're so focused on his black side that you forget about his Puerto Rican side, which the way his mom is and the way his grandma is. Have you seen his grandma in the early issues of Spider-Man? That bitch crazy. There's no way in the world she would have let him just forget about the Puerto Rican culture like that. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Um, and I would like to see Peter and Miles do stuff together. It feels like they're trying so hard to make sure that Miles isn't anything like Peter that they push Peter and Miles away from each other. Like they finally got back together in the Spectacular Spider-Man run, where it's a story about Miles and Peter teaming up. That's great. That's great. Can Miles and Peter actually team up in their own books every once in a while, and not just a crossover event, or not just a swing and a pass by right quick? Let them genuinely connect. You know what I'm saying? They're so focused on trying to make sure that Miles isn't a black Peter Parker, like everybody like to say, that they completely forgot that Peter is supposed to be his mentor too. Except for when he denounced Geeks and Gamer. Yeah, I got that. I understand when he did that. It was wrong. I didn't agree with that one, but I also know that he also got notes from WB to say that in order to get the Snyder cut. And I understand it. I understand you got to do what you got to do, but that's what I'm saying. He had to accommodate to the studio, and he still did it. You get what I'm saying? While the other directors would have never had to do any of that kind of stuff. It's crazy how he has to accommodate to what Hollywood wanted, and they treat him bad. You get what I'm saying? I didn't agree with what he did. I thought that was kind of slimy or whatever, but okay, that one bad moment compared to other directors who literally have done terrible things, and yet people want to celebrate them over Zach. You get what I'm saying? But he did. He needs some management. Um, he did Rebel Moon. The audience seemed to like it because he can make sales from it. People brought the merchandise. People like the book. People want to see more from Rebel Moon. Whether the story is good or not, I haven't got to. Oh, that's what I forgot to watch. I be so distracted with other things. I forgot to watch Rebel Moon. I need to sit down and watch it, because we know that Rebel Moon was actually Star Wars, and it was connected to the new trilogy stuff. So he was writing for the new trilogy stuff, but then Kathleen Kennedy said no. So then he retooled it to whatever and stuff like that. Um, I understand some people hate that he has this slow motion thing or whatever, but I feel like if a director have a certain style, let the director have that style. You know what I'm saying? You know, he still had co-writers. He had co-writers or whatever and stuff like that. And from what I've heard from people who watched it, besides the popular YouTubers, because honestly, it is getting kind of tiring to hear hatred from anytime he does something. Here come the YouTubers. That was trash. That was horrible. Blah 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 and stuff like that. And then some of the same directors that'll do the same thing. They'll praise them. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just like, did you really hate it, or because you disliked it, Snyder? You get what I'm saying? Um, the DCEU got held up by the Flash film. Yeah, that honestly, like I said, they should have let Snyder do what he needed to do. What I would have did is I would have put Justice League off for a year, let Zach and his wife grieve the daughter. And what I would have did is we would have did a Batman movie, probably, and then probably that Flash movie. We would have probably put Batman and the Flash in that slot. We would have just rewrote a few things, tweak it a little bit, boom, 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 and then let that lead up to Justice League. That's what I would have did instead of firing him and then trying to do this multiverse nonsense when the original plan was what I think it was Flash, and he was going to be it was going to be him dealing with Reverse Flash and Captain Cold with the help from Ben Affleck's Batman. So I was just like, that sounds way better. And then they were going to be running back in to like the Flashpoint universe a little bit. I think that was going to be the next movie or whatever and stuff like that. And then you were going to have Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne, Batman and Joker or whatever, which that's, again, from what the leaks were saying, sounds way better than what we got now. And it was just like, oh, if you guys had just let them cook, if you had just let them cook, we could have got something amazing. What you think of Sonic 3? It's not much to think. I can't wait to see it. If that's what you're wondering, I can't wait to see it. I am sold on it. Only the first Wonder Woman and Aquaman did well outside of Zack's vision. Then WB F that up. Yeah. And Zack still worked on Wonder Woman and Aquaman, the movies. You know what I'm saying? So clearly when he's not, clear the other movies outside of him that didn't really have his touch failed. The second Bat flick was him fighting Deathstroke, and it got delayed so much. Yeah. And then we got the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. And I would have took whatever Ben Affleck was doing over this nonsense. How do you explain the success for Transformers 1? What success? What success? It's not that much successful. Yeah, the budget is low, which makes it a little bit success, but for the most part, it's still performing lower than most Transformers movies. That's not really success. You get what I'm saying? And it took word of mouth to get people to even go into it because it had a low opening and it struggled to make his money back. It didn't make his money back the first week. So is that really a success? No, not really. You made a video on Batman Cape Crusader. Oh no, I did not make a video about Batman Cape Crusader. Do any of y'all even care about Batman Cape Crusader or my thoughts about it? I mean, I could make a video, but I completely forgot about it. Honestly, I knew there was something I was supposed to be doing one time. I got notes about it. So, I mean, if people care about it, I might make a video, but I don't know if anybody even cares about Batman Cape Crusader because it was terrible. It was boring to get through. Transformers was casually of burnt fan. I like the first two Bay films. Then it got worse story-wise due to going too far. Yeah, but again, the audience showed up for it. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes some movies don't really need that much of a plot. If you can entertain people, that's the major thing. And were we entertained in those Transformers movies? Hell yes, we were. Hell yes, we were entertained in those movies. Honestly, Transformers 1, 2, 3, and even 4 were entertaining movies. It's when you get to 5 and you get to that Beast War 1, you get to Bumblebee, you get to Transformers 1. I'm just like, are we supposed to be entertained or what? You know what I'm saying? I think they forgot about that. Even though I understand in the 4th movie, they were pandering to China very hard. Definitely, but it was still enjoyable at the same time. The Blade story Blood Hunt was bad. You know what? It seemed like it was bad. I was just like, no, I don't think I have any interest in it. You know what I'm saying? But Marvel was also trying to make all the black hero go to Wakanda. Yeah, I saw that one too. I do like the original I do like his original villains, Rabi and Heimtime. Yeah, they've been giving Miles a little bit more original villains too. So they're weird. I'm not gonna lie. Some of his new villains are some freaking weirdos. How would you handle one style among the necessary spider people from the Peter dynasty? So far, Peter Parker is default, but more science orientated with a rage mode. Like, you mean if I was making a video game kind of thing? It just depends on which spider character I was going to use, because there's so many different spider characters and so many ways they fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though, yes, their basic maneuvers is wall crawling, superhuman strength, durability, the strength of a spider or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. Then some of them get extra abilities outside of Peter Parker. So that would depend on what spider character I was using. Rebel Moon is very like 4K SD sci-fi, and it's kind of a mess. It's probably a beautiful, delicious mess, honestly. Most sci-fi films are a mess. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe. I've been watching sci-fi films, and I believe a lot of them are a mess. Even when I was watching Star Wars, Star Trek, I just Stargate 9-1, whatever, Andromeda. Every time I was watching them, it felt like the plot sometimes waver a little bit, but overall, I get what you're doing. I get what you're doing. Because let's be honest, Aliens, Avatar, and don't get, I love me some Avatar, and I'm talking about James Cameron Avatar. I know a lot of y'all hate Avatar or whatever, but that's another one that for some reason James Cameron proved to everybody that we like Avatar, because Avatar 2, Way of Water, made damn near what 2.4 billion dollars at the box office. And that movie was beautiful. When I tell you, that movie was gorgeous. That movie was gorgeous. I was not bored at all. I thought that movie was so cool. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of people don't care about it. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of people online talk about how terrible Avatar is, but that's another person who was able to make that jump work. He's able to sell it. He's able to sell the merchandise for it. He might not be able to sell it video game wise. I don't think we even care about Avatar on the video game front, but merchandise wise, we care. We care about Avatar that way. We care about the movies, and I can't wait for Avatar 3, Fire and Ash. Like, let's go. Come on. Before James Cameron croak, I want to get all of this. I want to get all this Avatar stuff out. Like, let's go. Come on. Chop, chop. It's too busy of a mess, and even people want to like it mid. Well, I don't know, because like I said, everybody says that they hate everything he does. So I tend to not believe it. I can't believe it, because it'd be different if if it was every other movie. It was okay. I like this movie, but I didn't like this movie. I like this movie, but I didn't like this movie. But every movie he's done has been the same thing, to the point where I can't believe any of that criticism of the hatred, because I know it is always the same people. It's always the same talking points. It's always the same complaint from it. And then think about it. We know in Rebel Moon, we know what they did. They did the same thing that WB did. Here's the version of the movie that he wanted to make. Here's the version that the studio released. People got mad. Then the studio decided to release the better version. That version was well received by the audience over the one that they released. They do it all the time. It is the same thing. The same thing WB did, Netflix did to him, and then people complained. They released the original version of both those movies. Then everybody said, how come his original vision was better than the ones that Netflix cut? So again, the contradiction is there. It's kind of interesting that Peter Parker and Miles have a student-teacher dynamic similar to Batman and his future Robins. Yeah. Zack Snyder's perk is slow motion poster shots. Michael Bay is explosions. Exactly. And we love them for it. We love them for it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's practically their superpowers. Yeah. Ezra Miller killed all interact with the Flash movie. He sure did with his weirdo. I mean, yeah, I'm quite sure Transformers One is good. I've heard it's good, but the reason why I didn't watch it because the trailer was such a turnoff. So I'm eventually going to watch it, but I'm not going to pay to go watch it. I'll watch it eventually, but that trailer was such a turnoff, and I was just like, no, no, I'm not. I'm not giving no money to that. you know. Fun fact: Wakanda Dora Milaje warriors and bodyguards of the Black Panther. Yes, yes, I already know that. We already talked about this. You're from what I recall, Ben's gimmick is impact webbing, whereas Kane is pre, pre-ignitions and his mark. Then Mayday has biomagnetism, which is stronger than Peter's but physically weaker. Yeah, that's yeah. A lot of the Spider characters have different things going on when it comes to their abilities or whatever. Things that a lot of people just like what are we mad about? And then of course you never hear them talk about the other Spider characters are trying to be better than Peter Parker. It is, oh, Miles is trying to be better than Peter Parker. No, he has different he has the same powers as Peter Parker, but he also have extra powers. It happens. It's not because he's better than Peter Parker. It's to show that he's different than Peter Parker, which means he doesn't have to rely solely on what Peter has. He can use his bioelectricity. He can use his invisibility, things that Peter don't have. Just like Kane can do the mark and the pre-ignition thing. Mayday Parker has the magnetism. Ben has the impact webbing that to this day Peter still don't do or even try to get from his brother. I would like, bro, how you do that? You know what I'm saying? Have you seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Yes, I did, and I have the cup and the bucket to prove it. Yep, me and my grandma to go see it. She loved it. She loved it. She loved that movie. So yeah, we did see it. We did have us a good old time. Meet the Flintstones. Yabba dabba dabba do time. A yabba do time. We'll have a gay time. um, oh, give me a second. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I have no problem with them. Are they the best ones? No. Are they entertaining? Yeah. You know, whether it continues or not, okay. But it's the same thing with Avatar. I'm going to go see it still. Like I can't wait for Avatar 3. I can't wait for Avatar 3. I am when I tell you I'm super excited for Avatar 3, I can't wait to see what James Cameron do now because when I tell you The Way of Water was such a beautiful movie. Oh, gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And it's a story about a father trying to protect his family. What not to like. You know what I'm saying? Um yes, the Earthlings did leave Earth, but of course you knew someone was going to come back, and they want Sam, the traitor, because Sam decided to stay with the Natiris, and marry Natiri, and had a family. They had kids. You know what I'm saying? And they want to kill them because of them messing up their plans, and because Sam has knowledge of the humans, he's able to kind of counteract any of their attempts to get closer to conquering the planet or whatever. So it's really cool because then you get to see this new culture with the I forgot how you say it because I'm not that great at the language, okay? But the people of the water, and they learn a lot of things about water and spirit and connecting with oneself and protection or whatever. And I know James Cameron likes to kind of preach a little bit, but it didn't feel like he was preaching to me. It felt like here's a story of a father. making the decision to protect not only his family, but the people that the native people that he started to care for by removing himself from the area and going to another tribe that welcomes them with open arms and teaches them their culture and their ways, and them learning that there is more to what they knew beyond their forest, and there's more to this planet than they knew, and dealing with raising teenagers, of course. So I don't know. I thought it was cool, but that's just my personal opinion. I say Peter have having the totem powers was actually interesting. With the stingers he used to have, yeah, but I think a lot of the audience said no, we don't like that shit. I think the audience said they didn't like that. That's why they got rid of that stuff, because they were like, no, that's doing too much. That is doing too much, you know. So yeah. But this was kind of fun. It's 2 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap it up with everybody tonight. Thank you for everybody who joined me today. I hope you all enjoy this little late night stream that I did. I know it was unexpected, but I was trying to make up from yesterday. I just didn't get a chance to get to the computer because when you got family, you run a whole bunch of errands, even on your off days when you be like, I need to rest or relax. It always happens, right? But anyway, thank you for joining me, everybody. This live stream should be up later on in the day or in the morning. It depends, because I think since I'm using Restream, it takes a while for it to load. So hopefully you guys will be able to see it. And then if you do see it, share it with everybody, whatever, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And thank you for everyone in the chat. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you next time I do a live stream. Oh, wait. The totem could have been reserved for Marvel's Tarantula. Ooh, yeah, that would have been fun. But yes, thank you everybody for joining me for the chat. I appreciate you all.